Good evening and welcome to Nightcap. May the Lord Almighty grant us a quiet night and perfect rest. Tonight I've chosen to look at the writer of the book of James in the New Testament. He was the half-brother of Jesus. Paul refers to him as James the Lord's brother, whilst in the early church he was called James the Just or James the Righteous. Although he lived with Jesus in the household of Joseph throughout his boyhood years, neither James nor any Joseph's children believed that Jesus was the Son of God until after the crucifixion and the resurrection. Mark tells us in chapter 3 and verse 21 of his Gospel, the rest of Jesus' family thought that he was a maniac. But after the crucifixion and resurrection, James clearly became a strong believer. Of course, that in itself is good evidence for the resurrection of Jesus. Indeed, James became the leader of the Jerusalem church and an important figure of authority in the Jerusalem Council. Some people have argued that James and the other children of Joseph were children of a previous marriage by Joseph and not true biological siblings of Jesus. But there's no evidence for that. So, Jesus came from a big family. In chapter 13 of his Gospel, Matthew names Jesus' brothers James, Joseph, Simon and Judas, and mentions sisters in the plural. So Jesus had at least 6 siblings. Apart from that, we know hardly anything about Jesus' childhood, apart from the mention of him when his parents took him to Jerusalem, the temple, and he remained behind when they left to go home, causing serious worries for Mary and Joseph. Theologians often call this period the silent years. The Gospel writers clearly want to focus on the period of Jesus' ministry and, most importantly, Jesus' death and resurrection.